live from Los. Always, it is a pleasure to talk to you guys on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Today we have the Green Bay Packers are on the clock, picking at number 25. It is go time. It is go pack go, as the people of Green Bay and Green Bay fans would like to say. As always, you can catch us on Instagram Live on the All Sports Talk podcast with my good friend Brandon Janot, and you can catch us on YouTube for the Jack's Wild All Sports Show. Say that three times fast. To watch this live feed as well. So here we go, Brandon, my man. How are you doing today? And it seems like me and you decided to call each other today and have the same wardrobe: white T-shirt, short hair. The only thing we're missing is the glasses, man. That's it. Like, did you not get the memo? No. Nah. You're already here, man. You're already here. You're already here. Sit down. Sit down. Get out of here. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I am doing good. I am doing good. Today it's going to be a very interesting episode because we have the Packers here. I think if you would have told a lot of fans, how do you feel about the Packers this coming up season? I think a lot of people would have told you no shot that they be somewhat competitive, no shot that, it's going to be we're going to wait and see type of year, right? We're going to see how this thing goes. And boy, did we ever see it. Did we ever see it? It was a season of ups. It was a season of downs. It was a season of, injuries. Obviously, there were some injuries that happened. And then there was at the end of it, one play. I enjoyed whenever, the Raiders weren't playing in red zone and they showed the Packers and I got to see what they did. And, especially that Sunday night against Kansas City, that was a huge step, and I think that was the turning step for Green Bay to kind of let the fans know Jordan Love is your guy, and a lot wrong with the Packers. We can admit this, but what's not wrong is that new quarterback that they have, number 10, Jordan Love, and I can't wait to dissect this Green Bay season. So, Brandon, without further ado, you ready to get this going?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go then. The Packers, after finishing 9-8, getting a playoff win against the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card matchup, ended up here with the 25th pick, the 12th best offense and 10th best defense. I think if you would have told fans this is the type of year that they were going to have, and I think there were some Packer fans, if this is the type of year they were going to have, I think there was very little doubt because obviously moving on from Aaron Rodgers, it's pretty hard, after the years he gave you and everything, it's pretty hard. But we talked about it and we said, listen, it's time to do this. It is time to just move on. Both sides need to move on. And sure enough, Jordan Love had a very good start to finally his first career year as a starter. Throwing for 4,159 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and especially the running game as well, where he included some multiple touchdowns as well. I don't think you could have asked Jordan Love to do any more than what he did this past year. I thought he did great, considering the fact that both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones did suffer some injuries and everything. And Aaron Jones, still being the good, running back that he is, he did end up with 656 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns to go along with 30 receptions, 233 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, the one thing, was how is this going to affect the passing game? Because obviously this is the first year. And it looked like it worked out with Jaden Reed, 64 receptions, 793 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So clearly, there was a curve where the offense, it just clicked on all cylinders. And with no running game, I think, with the running game being injured and everything, I was very impressed of how Jordan Love was able to handle that. Was there some games where, yeah, he looked like this was his first full year as a starter? I should know. I was at Allegiant for that Monday Night Football game, and There were some throws he did, and I'm like, man, he looked great. And then there were some other throws he got back, and I'm like, why? Why? But again, learning curve. And I had to understand that because I had him as my starter for fantasy. Because you know me, I like to wait. I like to wait for quarterbacks. I like to get rid of everything. I like to make sure everything else is in place, and then I go for quarterbacks. And I had Jordan Love, and there was a learning curve there, unfortunately. For the first like 8 to 10 weeks, there was a learning curve. But after that Sunday night football game against Kansas City, the curve just kept on going. He made some throws. He did his thing. So I'm very proud of the way, because let's just start with this. He got drafted in the first round knowing he's going to be the backup for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a matter of if. It was a matter of when he takes over this team, he's going to have to fill in the shoes for Aaron Rodgers, which is very hard to do. Which was very hard to do. But I'll be honest with you. If I were to give a grade for Jordan Love's performance as a first-year starter, because he's been in the league now for about 3 to 4 years. If I were to give a grade, high B, A-, high B. He handled this team very well. There were some hiccups. There was offensive line issues. There was some running game issues with the injuries. But above all else, he handled it like a pro. He's been handling his career like a pro. So I got to give him props for that. So kudos to Jordan Love here. And Mike, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here for your Packers today. Hopefully we do you right for your selection. Brandon, floor is yours, buddy.
Oh man, you said it earlier that we have been on record and said that if the Green Bay Packers folded this year, it was not because of Jordan Love, and that was the quintessential thing. We knew Jordan Love was good. He just needed to start. That's it. He just needed the playing time, and you got a chance to see him in Vegas. I watched him on TV week 3 against the New Orleans Saints, and everything was going well. It was going so damn perfect for the Saints, and then Derek Carr got injured, and then the dumbest damn decision on planet Earth. You continuously played man-to-man coverage against the fucking Packers. I will never understand that decision. That was very stupid. And he carved the fuck up of the Saints defense. He carved their ass up. No Marshawn Lattimore. I don't care. He just carved their ass up. He walked down the field.
Put it this way. Marshawn Lattimore could have been there. And if that was the game plan, still would have. Nah.
It was so stupid. It didn't make any
It did not make, no.
And the craziest part was they had no offensive line. They had no running game. Aaron Jones didn't even play. It was just, why did you lose that game? I still don't know why we lost that game. It literally hurt us, because if we would have won that game, we would have been in the playoffs. We would have had the tiebreaker over the Packers.
Is that the game you look back and you say, man, if we would have just won this one, I think this would have been our okay. Like, okay, we're in the playoffs, but I'm glad we got this one.
I think we were like, what, we would have been 2-1, I think, at the time.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-1.
2-1. So it probably would have changed our season, maybe. But it also created Derek Carr's interest. Anyway it goes, Green Bay this season relied on what we thought it would rely on, which was, as much as Jordan Love was the conversation, it was also Matt LaFleur. If Matt LaFleur can do it without Aaron Rodgers, because everybody has given Aaron Rodgers so much credit for why the team was 12-4 and 13-4 and then 12-5 and always in the playoffs, and it was Aaron Rodgers. That's the reason for why Green Bay was good. And then he leaves, and you're like, but they can't do it again.
Oh, hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Not only did they do it again, they did it better. And the craziest part is that you say it was the Kansas City game that made everybody realize who he was. I don't know which game was first, but I think it was the Thanksgiving game.
That Lions game, I will say this. Throwing that interception to Aiden Hutchins, that's, listen, man.
It happens. But that Thanksgiving Day game was the the game because I pretty much am sure both of us came on there the week before, the Wednesday before that game. We were pretty sure that Detroit was going to probably.
Yeah, we pretty much said, listen, I love what the Packers are doing, but it's still a learning curve, and Detroit's on a different animal.
We were like, yo, Detroit going to whoop their ass. We're not really too worried about that.
And it happened.
And then Green Bay whooped their ass. We're like, oh shit, wait a minute.
Like, hold up. What? Hold up.
I think it was that game that made everybody say, oh shit, wait a minute, Green Bay might be actually really good. Like, Jordan Love might be the guy. And that's the thing. It just took one game for Jordan Love to really be like, you know what? I'm confident in what I do.
Yeah.
And I can really play it. Like you said, a lot of the offensive line was in and out this season. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon both had their weeks where they just did not play. The game that he played against Chicago, the first game of the season, wasn't bad. I mean, but the game was pretty much over with when Aaron Jones started to run up the gut on Chicago's defense, and they couldn't really stop it.
Yeah.
It was like he didn't really have to do a lot early in the season. And then when it became on him to do what he needed to
But let's be fair. Between the first 4 weeks, Jordan Love was doing really good things. And you're like,
he was doing enough to win games. And
you're like, whoa. Like this. But I think what it was for the Packers too, me personally, and I think this is where, again, where you invest, right? Like, what do you get return on investment, right? What is your return on investment? To me, I think the return on investment was this Green Bay Packers defense this year. You know, I think it was a lot of return on investment. Quay Walker, you know, the first rounder, you know, finally starting to show, hey, this is, you know, he can play. Obviously, his rookie year, a little bit of a hothead. I mean, that's fair because you got thrown out.
Of the last game of the season.
Twice. Yeah. The second one was the last game of the season. Came back. 118 tackles combined. Rashawn Gary, who after year one, everybody claimed, yeah, it's not going to work out in Green Bay. Well, now he's a bona fide stud. 9 sacks. And then Rudy Ford with 2 interceptions. So, I mean, at the end of this, and then you have Keyshawn Nixon, who's an amazing all-pro specialist.
Nickel corner.
I think the return on investment for the Packers was the defense. I think the defense keeping afloat. Now, listen, having a top 10 defense statistically could have been better, sure. But this is what kept the season afloat for the Packers to at least survive. Because we know, listen, there's only so much Romeo Doubs. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I was very upset when that happened like 2 years ago. And I was like, this son bitch is going to go back to Rich Bisaccia, and Rich Bisaccia is going to expose him. And sure enough, I'm like, yeah, there it is. There it is, folks. There it is. You know? But no, I'm very happy for him. I'm very happy that he finally gets an opportunity to showcase what he can do. But I think for the Packers, the return on investment was that defense. It kept them afloat and enough to survive in one end of the division where everybody was going through some shit, in a conference where everybody was going through some shit. You know, so now we know they have to keep improving because surviving can only take you so far. And they have to do that. Now, free agency wise, I'm not going to lie. It hurts. It hurt to see this list today. John Runyon, gone. He's now in the Giants, which is a huge need, which is a huge help for the Giants. Darnell Savage, gone. He's now in Jacksonville. Aaron Jones is now in Minnesota. But I'm not gonna lie. They did their thing to get some free agents too. Xavier McKinney, listen, Darnell Savage is good. Xavier McKinney's good. I get it. But it's a good replacement. Losing Aaron Jones after the performance he had in the playoffs when he was 100% hurt. But you got Josh Jacobs. Not a bad deal. Now I get it. Did he have the season a couple like he had a couple years ago where he rushed for 1,600 yards and all that stuff? No. No, he did not. But he was still good. He still did his thing. And then they finally upgraded the position that I think after Mason Crosby left, Greg Joseph from Minnesota. I still want to believe that that kick was going in. Even if it was raining and it was windy, I still want to believe that that kick was going in. Because it looked like it. And then somewhere halfway, fate just said, no. No. And I'm just like, damn. But above all else, I think what I will say about the Packers is this. The Green Bay Packers have an opportunity here to continue to get better. And you're not even paying your guy what you would pay your other franchise guys. You still got him on a good deal. Now, is there work to be done? Yeah, 100%. There is work to be done. But overall, I think the Packers did amazing in their and so far in their offseason to try to keep this thing afloat, to make sure, because now everybody knows that the Packers can play. So it's not going to be a secret anymore that the Packers can't play. Now the secret is, well, do they have anything under their sleeve to kind of make me push them over the edge a little bit? So we'll see. Brandon, your take?
Yeah, this Packers team is very interesting, to say the least, because I think it was his second year as a starter is when Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
now we're not saying that's going to happen.
Not saying it's going to happen this year.
But if history has a funny way of repeating itself.
I'm just saying. I mean, Brett Favre, it took Brett Favre a couple years, and then in 1997 he won his first Super Bowl. So
I'm not saying that history repeats itself, but history has a funny way of repeating itself sometimes.
Because the defense is not bad.
It's really not. And you would think after losing the players that they lost off season, you're thinking, oh man, like this is a little.
You didn't lose Preston Smith. You didn't lose Rashad Gary. You didn't lose Jair Alexander. You didn't lose Eric Stokes.
Kenny Clark is still there, so you're good.
You didn't lose shit. Kenny Clark is still there. Like you're good. Your linebackers are still young and agile to play sideline to sideline. It's like you didn't really lose shit. Like, and if you want to look offensively, Romeo Doubs is in his third year. Christian Wilkins is in his third year. You got now a rookie tight end that you drafted last year is in now his second year. You got Josh Jacobs at 2 years ago, removed from 2 years. He was the leading rusher in the NFL. What the fuck did you lose? Like this is
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they lost a lot. Yeah, is there work to be done? Absolutely.
You're like, oh shit, they lost Darnell Savage. What did they get to replace him? Like Xavier McKinney. Okay, that's a good fucking pick.
Hey man, do it. You got to do it sometimes. You got to do it sometimes.
You're like, damn, they lost Darnell Savage. The man had 2 touchdowns in the Dallas game. Who did they replace him with? Xavier McKinney. Okay, yeah, I can see.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So there's no problem. There's no hard feelings there.
But that's Green Bay is like, this team is. We can never find a damn season where Green Bay didn't have a quarterback and a fucking defense. I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of this shit. But 3 decades now. Going on 3 fucking decades, these sons of bitches found always just a quarterback and the defense and a coach, and you're just like, son of a bitch. Like, you're just like, they're the San Antonio Spurs of the NFL. I fucking can't stand it.
They're just like that, man. They're just like that.
Just give them one fucking star, and it's just over. It's like, what the
We're good.
fuck is
We're
going
good.
on?
We're good. Now, of course, with some would say us as Packer fans are spoiled. Yeah, a little bit. Just a tad bit.
I'm pretty sure we are the us that will say, yeah.
Like, go ask a Brown fan, like, hey, how many successful quarterbacks can you name since they came back to be the Browns? You know, like,
Tim Couch.
yeah, Tim Couch, number 1 pick.
Tim
Who was
Couch.
number 2? Donovan McNabb. Woo. Oh, woo. Woo. You know, but I just think for the Packers right now, I think they're going to be in a little bit of an interesting frame there because yeah, you know, we could talk we could talk highly of them of how good they were and how good they played and everything like that. But is there work to be done? Yeah, 100%. But again, what team doesn't have work to be done? Because let's be real, David Bakhtiari's gone. That experiment's over. We mentioned the free agents that are gone, but understand this: David Bakhtiari is on the wrong side of 32 now. Now, Rasheed Walker, listen, when he was coming out of the draft, I was surprised that the Packers got him in the 6th round because I literally thought this kid was a 3rd to 4th round at worst type of pick. The fact that the Green Bay Packers got him at 6, and he was at that time a very good boom project, you know, and we'll see. Maybe this could work. Now, Elton Jenkins, we know what's up. He's a good guard. Josh Myers, very underrated center. He did his job. Zach Thomas and all these guys, they did their job. Now, are there players better at their positions than they are? Yes, yes, there is. It's very, very easy to say yes. But did they do their job? Yeah, they did their job. I mean, was there growing pains? Yeah, of course. There's always going to be growing pains. But they did their job. And at the end of the day, I think that's where Matt LaFleur and his coaching staff should get credit for. That they prepared these guys to play in difficult situations in uncertain times, especially this year where they traded away Aaron Rodgers. Because if you ask any NFL expert at that time, nobody had the Green Bay Packers getting into the playoffs. Nobody. I didn't know what to expect last year. I literally said, listen, for me, I just want to see what they got, and we can go from there.
I do believe we thought that it'd be better than the Vikings. So
there's that.
We did believe that. We were like, yeah, it'll be better than the Vikings. But
Chicago, I don't know. It could be that. Now, we all knew Detroit. It's like, listen, man.
Oh, that was a done deal.
It's like, listen, man. We knew Detroit was like, listen, this is Detroit's year. Just give it to them, and then we go from there. Okay, just give it to Detroit. They've earned this. Okay, they've earned this. But overall, I'm very impressed where the Packers could go. I'm very impressed on what the next level could be for the Packers. What's their next step? What do we do? So it's going to be very exciting to see on draft day to see what they do. You know, so because again, very impressive team. Is there work to be done? Yeah, of course. Because I'm sure you saw the depth chart. I saw the depth chart, and I'm like, yeah, there's some work. Absolutely, there is some work. So it's tough. I mean, it's really tough and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see what they can do. So, Brandon, any final words before we do make our selection?
Yeah, today I had to watch Colin Cowherd and Jason McIntosh try to explain how Dallas is still good and Green Bay is not, and how Green Bay, well, Jason McIntosh was like, well, Green Bay, I don't think they're going to be that good, and Dallas still has a chance. And I'm like, you are the dumbest fucking person on the planet if you don't see how the fucking bad Dallas looks and how good Green Bay can be. You're just stupid. You're just stupid. Like, I don't think you need to call sports. I just think that is, I get it that we live in a world where you got to be on the opposite side of what logic is.
But sometimes you got to go with logic.
Just plain old logic. Like, just I get it that you got to be on the opposite side of it because logic. Just
That was last year when people were saying, "Look, it's Detroit. They're gonna mess it up somehow." And a team will, and I'm just like, no, this is a very different Detroit team. Well, they haven't proved it in 30 years. Okay, well, you can stay with history. Go ahead, but okay.
I mean, fuck. I mean, but that's people. But yeah, logic just sometimes, reality is it's probably smart to be like, go with the team that probably whooped somebody's ass the last time you saw them.
It's just a thought. It's just a thought.
It's just a thought. I'm not saying that you gotta agree to it, but I'm just saying it would probably help you if you see. Just go relive the Green Bay game. Hell, go relive the San Francisco game. Let's be real. They probably should have won in that game against San Francisco. So, like you said, the rookie kicker. We clearly know who's the better Carson kicker in the family, but just.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. Like, he's gonna get there.
We gotta know who's the best Carson kicker in the family.
But listen. Just because they signed Greg Joseph doesn't mean that it's over. And listen, if Carson doesn't make the team, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't turn out bad for Daniel. His brother. He got booted out of Minnesota. He came to us. Now look at him. So, not the worst thing in the world. And your name is Carson. You're the little brother of Daniel Carlson, who has a pretty good reputation in the NFL too. So I'm sure you'll be able to find a job.
I mean, Dallas is going to need a kicker at some point during the season. I just feel it.
Tampa Bay, Seattle.
I mean, it could happen.
Listen, I know Jake Moody went to the Super Bowl, but missing extra points and all that stuff. Kansas City could use a kicker here pretty soon. But I'm just saying, he has a good last name to get him a job in the NFL somewhere. Just all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But Green Bay, in all, man, Green Bay is one of those teams that you don't know who they are. You don't know what they're going to
And I think that's the scary part. We don't know who they are. You don't know.
And I feel like if I'm going off of a logic, this would be the year you invest in Green Bay. I'm going to just go off of that. The second to third year of the Green Bay Packers with this team, you don't really have to pay anybody. You don't really have to pay the receivers yet. You don't really have to pay the quarterback yet. If I was a betting man,
and you have a lot of cap space still,
put some money on Green Bay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, division, I don't know.
Division-wise,
I don't know. I have to see how this goes.
I would say, I know damn well they're not finishing last.
No, they're not. They're not. No, they're not. No.
And how the NFC is looking, it might literally be between them and Detroit. And I mean to get to the Super Bowl. I don't trust San Francisco. I don't trust Philly like that. I don't trust Dallas or the Rams. So it could be them.
It could happen. It would be nice. And at that point, we'll be torn because we love Jordan Love, but man, we love Detroit too. I'm just saying. It's just one of those things. Listen, I'm not saying that history always repeats itself, but when it does, it has a funny way of doing it. So it's just one of those things. Now, before we do get to our picks, we unfortunately do have some news that we do have to cover. Unfortunately, it came out today. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashid Rice. I know. I don't want to talk about it either, but unfortunately, it's football news, and we got to do it. So, unfortunately, he got a warrant for his arrest. And he's being charged of 8 counts for his warrant and everything. And Brendan, I always let you go first in these type of things, but I want to speak from the heart here. I do because, I'm just, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. I always tell people, listen, man, you can't tell anybody what to do with your life. Nobody can tell you what to do with your life because it is your life, right? Same thing with players in the NFL. It is your talent to lose. It is your talent to do whatever you want to do with it, whether you want to make a career, get your money, get out, or whatever the case may be, right? Just do whatever you want to do. Now, in this case, however, this is where it irks me, and this is where it irks me kind of in the soul a little bit because I look at this story and I see the story of he's being charged with the drugs that were found in the back of the car, the fact that he was street racing in a busy highway, the fact that he might have left it. Well, it sounds like he did leave the scene. It sounds like it. I'm not totally sure, but it might sound like it. And this is what kills me because did we not? It seems we've always had these accidents and we always ask ourselves why. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to say when. And what do I mean by when? Because did we not learn anything from the Carolina wide receiver who did what he did and served jail time because of his crimes? Did we not learn anything when Ray Lewis did his thing and he did his thing? Did we not learn anything when Ray Rice punched his girl in the elevator? Did we not learn from that? Did we not learn when Adrian Peterson got charged with child abuse because of what he did? Did we not learn when Aaron Hernandez stuffed not one, but multiple people? The Odin Lloyd was one charge. Then we find out later he had another charge. Did we not learn anything when Henry Ruggs did what he did? It's not a matter of why anymore to me. It's not a matter of how, why. To me, it's a matter of when. Just because you have NFL money doesn't make you untouchable. Again, yes, it is your talent to waste if you want to. Go ahead. But didn't you, and this is coming from Kansas City, didn't you learn when one of their staff members legally paralyzed a little child because of drunk driving? The head coach's son paralyzed a little child for life because of drunk driving. There's no more why for me. There's no more how. For me, it's when. I'm happy he was able to escape. That he's still alive. Just like I was happy Henry Ruggs made it out alive. But the consequences are this. Henry Ruggs killed somebody.
Yep.
Rashid Rice injured somebody.
Yep.
Changed a family's life forever.
Yep.
When, NFL, when are you finally going to step down? When are you finally going to step up and not leave it up to the franchises what to do? I can't believe I'm still talking about an incident like this after the Henry Ruggs situation. And you know how much that got me, because not just because he played for the Raiders, but because it happened a few blocks down from where I live. My uncle, my wife, somebody I cared about could have been out in that street at that time. When? When are we going to change this? Go ahead, man.
Oh, man. Rashid Rice just literally won a Super Bowl. You're living the highs of highs of your entire life. Your whole life has been playing football. I'm pretty sure of it. And you just won a Super Bowl with possibly one of the greatest teams. And you are the main factor, one of the main factors of why you guys got to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. So for you to now have your entire career and we don't know what's going to happen, but for what it's being said and the charges that are being given to him, it is not going to end well for him. He's probably going to serve some jail time. He's probably going to be in prison for a minute. And for that alone, you did all of that for no fucking reason. It's so stupid to throw your entire career away for 15 minutes of fucking fun or whatever the fuck you were doing it for, the race, however long the race lasted.
On Easter weekend,
it's
no less.
just so fucking dumb. Like, speaking of a person that just lost somebody, my father, you gotta, like, that shit to me is just the stupidest thing. Life is one of those things where you cannot play with right now with me when it comes to me. It just, you just threw away your whole entire career for some fucking fun for what reason? It just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And you're right. The NFL should not be leaving this up to Kansas City. This should not be a Kansas City choice to say whether they're going to keep him on a franchise or this should be an NFL decision. And at the end of the day, I get that you don't want to step in if you're the NFL because you don't know. Again, we don't know what he's going to get charged with, but it's pretty serious. And it seems that this isn't going to be no fucking slap.
There is a warrant out for his arrest right now.
There's a warrant for him. And
now that could mean a million different routes.
It could be a million things. But here's the thing about this situation is like, you turned yourself in. You said you were cooperating with the police, and then you admitted that yeah, it was me. I did drive the car. The car was registered in my name. I did drive the car. So what else do we need to know? What else do you get slapped on the wrist with? Because there is no slapping on the wrist. You caused the situation, and I don't give a shit if you are a football player. You caused the situation. Do we not give? I get the talent, but at some point, human decency gotta jump the fuck in.
I said the same thing when it came to Henry Ruggs. Did the Raiders handle it? Sure, but it wasn't enough. To me, it wasn't enough. When Aaron Hernandez did what he did, and the Patriots did what they had to do, I still said it wasn't enough.
We forget that Deontay Stallworth killed a man, and it still ended up on a football team.
Yeah.
like shit happened. Like that happened. And let's be real. If we weren't living in the time period we was living in, Ray Rice probably would have been on another NFL team.
Yeah. And it just, that's when I have to stop saying why. To me, it's when. When does this change? Did you not? A young receiver having fun caused a problem. If I said that to you, you'd be thinking, oh, Henry Ruggs. No, Rashee Rice now. He took that attention away from Henry Ruggs. Did you not learn from Henry Ruggs? And here's the thing that kills me the most when it comes to the whole Henry Ruggs thing. He only got 2 years. He killed somebody, got 2 years because of involuntary manslaughter. He'll probably get out at 1. By this time this year, or by the end of this year, he'll get out because of good behavior. I don't know what's left to say. And it sucks that we had to take this turn because we're having fun and we're doing the mock draft and everything. But this is something that's been right before I got out. All I see is Warren. And I'm thinking to myself, the human side of me says shit's about to go down. The other side of me, knowing that he's a famous football player, he just won a Super Bowl. He just did his thing. If he gets a slap on the wrist, it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't.
Because people have said it. The pounds of marijuana that he had in his vehicle, that is a state felony. The fact that you caused and technically did a hit and run, it's a serious crime. Now here's the thing too. It is his fault too. It is what it is. But I hope he learns from this to surround himself with better people. Because if me and you in that situation, and I came up to you and I said, hey man, let's do this. I got 2 car for rentals, luxury cars. Let's fucking. Eventually, humanistic has to kick in. Like, nah, bro, you gotta chill. First of all, it's Easter weekend. First of all, you can't be doing that shit because you got your whole future ahead of you.
See, this is the problem I have with people when it comes to this shit nowadays. Why the fuck do you have to do something fucking stupid to be like, you need to surround yourself around good people? How don't you just do this shit immediately?
Exactly. And that's where I'm getting. And then surround yourself with better people first.
Like, why the fuck does it have to be bad shit happen? Then you gotta be like, oh shit, I might need to be around good people nowadays. Same thing with John Morant. The reason why I was like, no, this is the dumbest shit on the planet. Like, his ass should get the book thrown at his ass because why the fuck are you doing it in the first fucking place? Why do you need to fuck up your career to get right? It doesn't make fucking sense. It just doesn't. Like,
it don't.
Like, you are a Super Bowl champion. You just won your rookie fucking year. You have won a Super Bowl with Patrick. You just won a Super Bowl with Patrick fucking Mahomes. You just won a Super Bowl. And immediately you fuck it up. Immediately. It didn't take that long. It did not take that long. Like, I don't understand why people want to sit there and be like, well, I hope it now makes him feel like he needs to be good. You should have been thinking that shit the moment you won the Super Bowl. Like, God damn, I need to just be around good people. I'll be with my motherfucking self. It's okay to be a loner. It's okay. You don't get in trouble.
I think it's just one of those things when you're young. Look, we all did stupid shit when we were young. We've all done it. It's just eventually, the second you get drafted, you're like, I'm not like other people anymore. I'm an NFL player.
But here's the thing. What is young? Because you've been in college for 3 years. You've been on your own for 3 fucking years. So you should know how to manage shit. That's the crazy part. You should know
how to manage. I get it. Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I get it. I get it.
You've been in a situation for 3 years by yourself. You cannot tell me that now that you are in a Super Bowl.
And it's not, let's be real. During the draft process, there were some red flags, which caused him to drop.
To fall.
Because if he didn't have those, he would have been chosen earlier. Now, guess what? Forget the fact that he won a Super Bowl. Now, all those red problems or those concerns that you had during the draft process, people are going to look at, oh, he's a Super Bowl champion. No, it's like, see, I told you. I told you those concerns were going to come back. And I get what you're saying. Why do you wait until you get into trouble? Immediately on draft day, he probably should have looked at it and said, I'm not like a normal person anymore. I am in the NFL. I am playing for a franchise team. I need to change my situation.
You are playing with one of the greatest quarterbacks of this era, Patrick Mahomes. You just won a Super Bowl ring your rookie year. You are one of the reasons for why you won the Super Bowl ring your rookie year. And you are going to now throw that shit away. And again, we don't know. He might get a slap on the fucking wrist. I don't know why, but he's going to probably get a slap on the fucking wrist. The problem with that is that this is just the first. This is the first one. What happens when it continues? Because yeah, we can sit here and say he's young and he's gonna get his shit together. We've said that about a lot of motherfuckers, and some of them.
What's the difference between him and Henry Ruggs? If the only difference, you come up to me and said, well, at least he didn't kill anybody. If that's the only difference you have for me, then shame on you. Then shame on you.
I literally, it's like I'm tired of people putting their young shit. It's, bro, you were in your 20s. You were in your mid-20s, like 24, 25. You ain't just entering 20. You ain't like you just never been on your own. You've been on your own for 3 years. You've been in college.
And it's also the fact that you would have thought after that story, and then here comes a draft prospect too, Trevonde Sweat. Again, when do we learn from this? That's
Here's the thing, when like the Jalen Carter shit started last year, it was like,
don't you think you want to learn from other people's? Like can never put myself. But again, I'm not going to ask why. I'm not going to ask how. I'm only going to ask when. When do we get serious about this? So that's it. We'll have more when it develops and everything. Hopefully. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm praying for the guy. I'm praying for everybody in the situation.
of course.
But it's a sad situation that we've seen one too many times.
And I know we joked about this a lot during the football season, but with this situation happening, it really does feel like Kansas City is now kind of like default. They got to kind of drop a receiver because it's default now.
You have to think. You were already thinking about it before the season was over. Now with this, you ain't got no motherfucking choice, bro.
You ain't got a choice. It's fucking default. Man, I hate the draft process when you got a default to pick because it feels like they kind of have the fucking default.
And then you look at, and then somebody's gonna ask, there was these prospects here that could be better. Why did you? Oh, because we just felt like we know. We get it. But who knows? That's later. And we'll have more when it develops and everything. It's just when. That's the last way. That's the best way I could put it is when. So, all right, Brendan, let's get to some fun now. All right. The Packers are the Packers time is up. What is the name of the card that you're going to give the commissioner to read out loud to the wonderful fans in Detroit who will greatly appreciate the Packers being on the clock in Detroit?
With the 25th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, with the Detroit Lions crowd booing the shit out the Packers.
And Roger Goodell at the same time.
Roger Goodell will announce that the Green Bay Packers will select Jordan Morgan, offensive lineman, Arizona. Listen, looking at the depth chart, I really couldn't find anything defensively that I could give them. Maybe outside of maybe defensive tackle. And you're like,
and even then, you're like, nah.
Even then, it's like, that's a luxury pick. Like, even then, it's like a luxury pick.
Could they have gone wide receiver here? I think so.
They could go receiver if you truly don't believe that Christian Wilkins or Romeo Doubs aren't the guys. So you just drafted one just to have him in a slot. And even that is like
risky.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. So I'm with Jordan Morgan. I feel like what you said last night is everything is that they need. They need a left tackle. They need somebody that can kind of help that offensive line. Now, that offensive line is not bad by no stretch of the imagination. But for what you can actually build with the Packers, you got to need a offensive line. David Bakhtiari, like you said, not coming back. He is a free agent. He is gone. He's not coming back. So what do you need to do for Jordan Love is build his offensive line. You're starting it. It's a good process. You're creating it. But at the same time, I feel like with Green Bay, one thing about Green Bay is that when you can run the ball, like Green Bay likes to run the ball, you need an offensive line that can create the open lanes for you. And Josh Jacobs, like I said, 2 years ago removed from being the leading rusher in the NFL, I'm pretty sure he's going to fit perfectly with this Green Bay offense, especially if you give him an offensive lineman. And for me, Jordan Morgan fits it perfectly. And I feel like what Green Bay can easily make up the difference between them and Detroit is the offensive line play. I do not trust Green Bay's offensive line that much, not like Detroit's. But at least if you draft Jordan Morgan, at least you can sit there and say to yourself, we got something.
And we're going to go from there. And we're going to go from there.
We're creating something. So I got Jordan Morgan, offensive lineman, Arizona.
It seems like there's going to be one thing guaranteed in our lives this year, Brandon. Death, Texas, and we're always going to be one pick away from each other from picking the right guys at the same time. It seems like that's the theme this year. We are pick 25, and we have only gotten one guy.
One guy.
One dude. You know how I feel about Jordan Morgan. Again, athletic. Obviously, the Packers need a left tackle. Now, could people say, man, Jordan Morgan at either 24 or 25, would that be a reach? Could be. But is it a need? Yeah. Now, with me, I did talk about the offensive line a little bit with Rasheed Walker, Elgton Jenkins, Josh Myers, and all those guys and everything. So believe me, it could be better. Because I did see that depth chart too. I'm like, could they have gone defensive tackle? I said the same thing. That's a luxury pick because they already got Devontae Wyatt. They already got Kenny Clark. You only draft Johnny Newton because you're ready to move on from Kenny Clark. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which is possible. It's possible. But then that's a luxury pick. Which is, again, nothing wrong with that. Then I saw the wide receivers and I said, okay. Because I still have some pretty good wide receivers on the board.
I do not.
Now, you do not. You do not. But I have like some very talented wide receivers on this board. So, could have I given them a tight end? Maybe, but I don't think so.
I like Musgrave. I think he's going to do great this year.
I think so too. And that's why I'm like, again, maybe, maybe not. Could have I given them a running back? Because, yes, even though you guys did re-sign A.J. Dillon, the injury concerns still have to be there.
And Josh Jacobs.
But I thought 25 might be a little too high still.
That's a little high. That's a little high. Yeah, it's a little high.
Especially with this running back draft class. It's a little too high. Little too high. However,
luxury pick. That's I don't give a fuck pick. That's beyond luxury. That's the I don't give a fuck pick.
Exactly. So to me, I got to see what Rasheed Walker can do still. Because I could have gone Amarius Mims here. But my issue with that is then I would just be a hypocrite. And I would put the Packers in the same situation that they were with David Bakhtiari. So I can't do that to them. So I didn't take Amarius Mims here. I did take an offensive lineman, though. So at least we got that going for ourselves. So here I go. So with the 25th pick in this year's 2024 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Graham Barton, the offensive lineman out of Duke. Listen, 6'5", 312, two-time first-team All-ACC in 22 and 23, second-team All-American this year. Now, when you look at him, the first thing that pops up to mind is versatility. He can play tackle, he can play guard, he can play center. Me personally, you put him as a guard. Because here's the one thing. For 6'5", 312, his arm length is not very long. That's one of his downfalls. It's not a very long arm length, which is ironic for a guy who's 6'5", but that's okay. What he makes up for it, athleticism, sound technique, and nasty footwork in the run game. That's what he makes up for it. All right. Where do I think he fits? I think you put him at right guard. Because you're not going to move Elgton Jenkins, the pro left guard. You're not moving him. Josh Myers did his job. You're going to have to see what Rasheed Walker can do, or you double dip on offensive lineman in round 2. I don't know. It's possible, but I don't know. I think Graham Barton here, if the Packers really want to go back to that run game specialty, Graham Barton is probably your best bet to improve your run game on the offensive line. Again, great technique, nasty footwork, and tough as nails attitude to get the run game going. There's not much to say about this pick. This is one of those picks where you get your guy, you plug him in, and you start molding him to what you want him to be. And here's the thing. He's still going to build into his NFL body. So that's fine. That's okay. But you make him what you want him to be right away. To me, I'm gonna go with I don't want to take Amarius Mims here because then you're doing a disservice to yourself because then you kind of have to maybe look at David Bakhtiari and try to see if you can maybe make a reunion together. And hopefully one of those two gets healthy before the start of the season. Take the kid now. We'll worry about the left tackle and right tackle positions. And here's the thing, Jordan Love is such a mobile quarterback. As long as you give him enough time to come up in the pocket or move around to run, I see Jordan Love having no problem continuing the progression what we expect him to be. So Graham Barton, you are the new Green Bay Packer in my world.
I was gonna grab Barton yesterday. I was actually gonna take him for Green Bay today. Then I saw that I'm like, nah, they got a center. They're pretty good at that. I think Myers was actually a better center in Green Bay than he was in Jacksonville. That's just me. That's just me. Yeah, no. But yeah, I was gonna go at Barton too, and then I was just like, I feel like they could do. I was like, no, they could do something more with this offensive line. Then I saw the left tackle and tackle positions on Green Bay. I'm like, yeah, it's a little shaky for me. I just we believe that's offensive line play. We do believe that. We got that 100% in common.
Like that is okay. One thing we got in common.
We might not be getting the players right, but we're definitely picking the right positions. We're picking like, no, it's offside. No, it's defense. And that's the thing. Like, I just feel like with what Green Bay needs more than anything is a consistent offensive line now. Because they got the weapons. They got the weapons. They got the receivers. They got the running back. They got the tight end. I believe in Luke. I think Luke Musgrave is going to be great this season. I actually think he's going to be one of the big factors for why Jordan Love actually gets better this year. And defensively, I actually believe the defense is good. I was trying to find a secondary player, and I'm like, that's just adding on to the problem. Like it was
like sure. Could you give him Cooper DeJean here? Sure, you could do that.
I could.
You could tell him, all right, well, we're going to move you to safety because we already got our corner, so we're just going to move you to safety to play with Xavier McKinney. That's not a bad gig.
It's fucking not. It's easy money if you do it. But I just felt like, man, that is just adding on. That is really just adding on. And I live in it. My team plays in the NFC. I don't want to see that shit. I'm sorry, I don't want to see. When do we get to playoffs? I don't want to see that shit. Hey man, listen, fandom still kicks in at some point. It's just like, and tomorrow is gonna be even on towards tomorrow because it's just
yeah, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are officially on the clock now. Now that the Packers have made their selection.
Yeah.
So I think me and you are on the same route here. I think offensive line is in play for both, for the Packers and the Cowboys. You know, back-to-back days, offensive linemen. I think it is in play. I think also it's necessary. It's necessary for the Packers in order to improve. Now, I get it. How can your team improve on an offensive line? Well, if your offensive line can at least hold up, you could worry about the other stuff is easy pickings as far as trying to place receivers, as far as trying to place the tight end, maybe fix a defensive player or two. You know, everything becomes pickings at that point. So I think me and you are on the right track. And I think Michael, if he's still here, I think he would agree that offensive lineman is in play. Now, whether he likes our selections on offensive linemen, he has to understand that some of the guys that he might want, well, they're gone.
Yeah, on our board, it's gone.
They're gone. So you're just gonna deal with what's left, you know. And at this point, to either get Jordan Morgan or Graham Barton here, it's not a bad deal. It is not a bad deal. So, you know, so we'll see. We'll see. But that'll do it for today. We will be back tomorrow where your favorite, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are on the clock. Surprisingly, great year. Ended in Detroit, but they did have a good playoff run. We're going to talk about if Baker Mayfield is probably the answer to the replacement for Tom Brady. I don't know. Or is he just benefiting off of a division that
Ducks.
Chihuahua. All right. Like,
Did you get a Chihuahua?
like, Chihuahua. Like, whoa. That is a hole. That is a hole. Like, man, that division is whew. Yeah. That one, that division, that is whew, you know what's up. You know what's up. But the Buccaneers are on the clock, and I will say this, just a preview. I am happy that Mike Evans is staying a Buccaneer. I sincerely thought he was hitting free agency this fucking March, but I'm glad he's staying in Tampa because he is the Buccaneers. He is the good and the bad. But he is the one thing the Buccaneers fans, I think, always have needed for a while. He is the consistent. He is the pride of Tampa Bay.
He is.
So I'm happy he's staying. I swear to God, I thought he was going to hit the free agency market in March because it looked that way, the way he was playing. I'm like, oh yeah, he's putting film for Tampa Bay and his opponents this year, but really what he's doing is film for 31 other teams for when it is time for him to hit the market. But I am so happy he is staying in Tampa Bay. So I can't wait to talk about that. So good for him. I'm really happy for him. I'm really glad he is staying in Tampa. I know you probably wanted him out, but I just think there's just some players that just need to stay with some teams. And not much. So, it is what it is. But Tampa Bay is on the clock tomorrow. We'll talk about them, and then we'll make our selection fairly. And I say fairly, Brandon. Make it a good one. Be fair.
I'm going to try to be.
All right, make it fair. Because I'm going to be honest with you, with this Tampa Bay team, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I mean, I ran the numbers. I'm looking at the depth, and I'm looking at the players that are still on the board available, and I'm like, yeah, but if I do this, can I get this? If I do this, can I get this? If I do this, can I get this later? Is there a possibility maybe a trade down to get more picks? I don't know. So Tampa Bay's kind of in that weird spot where it's like, yeah, you exceeded expectations, but now you put yourself in a position where you really exceeded expectations. So now we're like, well, damn. So it's tough. It really is tough. So, and I did have one comment, coming out like, when is Amarius Mims getting picked? That's a great question.
That must be to you because he's already gone in my draft.
Yeah, that was to me, and I'm gonna answer it the best way I can. That is a great question. That's all I got. That is a great question.
That's a really good question.
That is a really great question because I'll be honest with you, if he didn't have the extra stuff going on in his life right now, he'd be gone.
He's not on my board. He's already gone.
He'd be gone. But that's a great question to whoever asked that earlier. Tune in tomorrow. Maybe he'll be there. I don't know. But I know it looks bleak because there's only 7 picks left. So
it looks desperately bleak. It looks very, very, very bad for this man. He's done nothing to you, Juan.
I know he did. Listen, I love the kid too. I love the kid. I know the kid's gonna be. Listen, the kid's gonna be fine. It's just, man, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want him to go in a position where he has to play when he's not 100%, and it ruins his career to start. I don't want that for him. I want him to I hope he goes to a situation where he can rest. Not rest, obviously, but hey, he doesn't have to be pushed full throttle right away.
Yeah, the guy immediately.
Just, give him time, because I promise you, if you give him time, like how Dallas gave Jalen Smith time, you're going to get a good football player. Just give him time. So tune in tomorrow if that's it, but I want you to know, I want you to look at Tampa Bay's roster and see what they got, and think if I'm gonna put him there. So keep tuning in. Keep tuning in. You'll see. He'll go. He'll go eventually. So we'll leave it at that. That is a great question.
Poor kid.
He has done nothing to me, and I have listen. If anybody sees this, if any fan sends this to him, I want him to know right now. I believe today he will be an amazing left tackle in the NFL. I have no doubts in my mind that this kid is going to be a superstar. I just want him to get healthy. Is that such a bad thing?
I think I know where you're going to put him. But I'm going to just wait and see if you're going to do it. I know where you're going to put him.
You have no idea where I'm going to put him.
Oh, I know you're going to put him. So we're going to
oh, man. You know me too good now.
I hear you, and I'm like, okay, we're going to see. You're going to see.
Yeah.
But keep tuning in, because it's
We're good. We're good, Amaris Mims. I believe in you. All right? I believe in you. And I'm going to do everything in my power to get you to a great, great position. All right? Great. So just hang tight, buddy. Hang tight. I promise you, you're going to love where I put you, okay? You're going to love it. You don't know where I'm putting him. But anyway, tune in tomorrow for Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay is on the clock. All right? Tampa Bay is on the clock. So let's see how that goes tomorrow. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful night. Enjoy your Wednesday. We will see you guys tomorrow for Thursday. Brendan, as always, it's awesome to talk to you, my man. Until then, everybody, please be safe. Take care. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.